Hello, hello. We are live for tonight's episode of the Xander Gibb Show. We are in pre-production mode, and as you've guessed, probably I am Gloria Swanson. No, I am whoever you want me to be tonight, but really I'm Xander Gibb, that guy that tries to make a difference 5 nights a week on your radio and TV screens. Don't know what is going on here. I am Gloria Swanson. No, you're not. You're Xander Gibb. The things you see when you're trying to well, that's weird. You have to make the page bigger in order to make it smaller on this new computer. So I'm just going to share the links. Please feel free to do the same. Here we go. We are sharing, so that everyone knows we're live. That's the link shared on Facebook, as my father called it, Facebook. Facebook, what's that all about? He wasn't Canadian, by the way. That was just like how he sounded, because he was from up north. Let's see if we can get into the mail and get the link for the YouTube. What did I want to tell you about tonight? As usual, we'll be playing our drinking game. So it is a school night, so please be as responsible as possible, because I don't want anybody going to work tomorrow. And for those of you that are still able to work, saying that Xander Gibb said I should take a drink every time he says the words, "Oh, yes, sirree." So it is up to you. For some reason, everything is slow tonight. I have what they call premium quality internet. And apparently someone just tried to call the show, but we're not taking any calls as yet, because we haven't got to that part of the show, right? So let's see if we can get this YouTube link to share on Instagram, because also a lot of people out there like to watch the show on the big TV. I can't think why. And later we'll do some crazy stuff for those watching on the big TV, like, wah! Just to scare you while you're nodding off with your cocoa and watching the show, because, you know, that's the way we roll on this show. So that's that done. Let's come to the live feed just to see who's there. I will say hello to everybody individually when we get started. Hi to Diane. Hi to Carla. Hi to everybody else that's watching but is hiding. They're not in the live feed. You are welcome. Everyone is welcome here. If you can click that share button right now, that would be something that is really welcome. And I'm just praying that when I click to share to group, now you see, it's not working properly tonight. Here we go. Looks like I'm going to have to do all of these individually, so you will have to bear with me. We have got 4 minutes till the start of the show. Hello to Maria. Welcome. I hope all is good with everybody who is here with us. Did I dream it, or is it International or National Biscuit Day today? Which, you know, really wouldn't kind of help me, because I'm not allowed to eat biscuits, unfortunately, unless they are not gluten-free. What is it they have to be? They have to be keto biscuits, but I've tried. You can't buy them. So I guess I would have to buy them, make them myself. But there is a way to do it. And a couple of weeks ago, Oh, I've shared it so many times on my own page by mistake. Um, there is a way to do it. You have to use keto flour. No, you have to use coconut flour. And what that actually means is it kind of it doesn't work so well with savory things, unfortunately. But with sweet things like cake and stuff. So I put in the same amount of flour as you usually would. I put in peanut butter, I put in eggs, and I melted some chocolate, which was 70% cacao, which will mean more to you than it will to others, or more to some than it will to others. Hi, Chet. And it made this really nice cake. And I don't know why, but the more of this cake that I ate, the more I wanted. There were no drugs in it before anybody asks, because I don't really hold truck with that much, except the prescription variety. I'm just sharing to a group called "It's Okay to Be White," which is kind of interesting, and we'll talk a little bit more later as to why it is interesting with the things that we are going through right now, not just in the United States, because I don't know if you know, but yesterday, a statue, thanks, Chet, for sharing. It'd be great if everybody else that's in the live feed could share too. That would be wonderful. Yes, they pulled down a statue yesterday, and it was of someone who was apparently a slave trader from 300 years ago. So my point is, when do we start kind of, well, they're talking about reparations now for black people. When do you get them for the Jews? When do you get them for the gays? When do you get them to everybody else who feels that they've been treated badly? And so everyone who's ever had any money from any slave, everyone who's ever inherited money from the past and they find they've had a slave trader, should all of their houses be taken from them? Hi to Janie, welcome. Yeah, I agree, Chet. White guilt libtards piss me off too, and it's actually getting really silly because for me, it's about who we can't change the past. I'm sorry that slavery happened. I'm sorry that Jewish people. I'm sorry that my ancestors were interned and burned in ovens. But you don't find me pulling down statues of people that were kind of involved in that. You don't find me going over to Germany and killing everybody, because that's not the way that it works. And I don't know. I got rather concerned by it today. When people were saying, "Oh, it's not vandalism. It's absolutely okay because this guy was a slave trader." And here's the next thing that they were trying to do as well. They defaced Churchill's statue. Now, Churchill, if you are a historian, will know that he was anti-fascism, and he did everything he could to drive out fascism. However, they still are saying that his statue should come down for something that they're alleging he's done. So tell me, guys, where do we draw the line? Where do we stop all of this madness? Because for me, it's actually just got to a point where I want to scream, because at the end of the day, as I keep coming back to, we cannot change anything that's gone before. We cannot do anything about what has been done in whoever's name and why. But what we do need to do is kind of find a way to move forward and stop all this ridiculous kind of moving backwards, I would call it, because for me, yes, terrible things have happened to every section of the community. Men, women, black people, Jews, the list goes on. But we cannot really continue in this vein because what is actually happening with all of this, as far as I'm concerned, and I will stop talking about it very soon, I assure you. What has happened here is that the Democrats are using this in order to further the divide. And when we allow them to do that, we're actually kind of working with it. And you saw last week that all of these white people kissing the feet of black people and saying, I'm sorry, we've treated you so badly, and all of this. Can't hold truck with that, because the thing is that most of these people that are living in the United States right now have not really experienced racism to the level of slavery. And in the past 3 years, Donald Trump has done more for the black community than anyone else ever. More than Barack Obama, Barack Hussein Obama, not Obama, but that was quite an interesting slip. Barack Hussein Obama did nothing for the black community, and he gets all of this praise and adoration. And to me, it just seems like, what did he do? He just made a bigger divide. So unless someone can show me, any differently as to what he did. Hi, CV, welcome to the live feed. We are going to start the show in a minute, but I did kind of end up going on this this rant and this tangent. But I do think it's imperative that we not only talk about it, but we actually get angry, because the anger out there is all kind of one way, and while we let it pass, I think it makes us somehow culpable. So it's imperative to actually speak out about it. I think we are nearly there. Hi, my Gina. I hope you are good. We are going to start the show a little later because of my rant in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
It has been good to me this time around. Things were bound to change when it was found. Sugar never tasted sweeter on my lips. My heart is now intact, and I can find no rest. This is love, yeah, love. Never known true love before. Seen so many counterfeits that left me on the floor. This is love, yeah, love. All will come to those who wait. Time it cannot know the bounds, and eras don't dictate.
Well, hello and welcome to Monday's episode of the Xander Gibb Show, the talk show that really does get you talking on the Xandermonium Network, live from an undisclosed location, bringing you the best in Patriot broadcasting 5 nightly, quite rightly. I'm Xander Gibb, and on today's show, I get on my soapbox and give you the opportunity to get on yours too. In our phoning, congressional candidate Ala Hawatma joins us. And in part 2, Greg Schreiner from the Maryland Memorial Museum joins us to talk a little bit about Maryland. Shubu-bidu. So you can also have your say in the feed below. And I will, as usual, be sharing your comments as we go. You can call in when we get to that section. I'll be sharing the numbers then, because people tend to call in early otherwise. We have a UK number too now, so you can call in on that. Also, if you're in the United Kingdom, you can follow me on social media, including Twitter now, and you can check me out at xandergibb.com. Oh, yes, you can. There we go. I'll give you a chance to take a drink. Oh, yes, siree. You can indeed. So it's no secret, folks. I do not support the Black Lives Matter movement. And whilst the initial sentiment of the organization was mildly applaudable, it has turned into what I can only call a political organization. I cannot support an organization that would ignore the deaths of Black people killed by black people, but politicize those deaths inflicted by other black people. I will not own the killing of anyone just because I am white. Any media individual or anyone that tells you they really have a clear agenda of division, don't allow that to happen. Now, a man today has been charged with the murder of retired Captain David Dorn, a 24-year-old called Stephen Cannon. He was charged with first-degree murder for the murder of Captain Dorn. Now, Cannon was also charged with robbery, burglary, armed criminal action, and felon in possession of a firearm. Now, I hope they have the death penalty in that state. I really do. Police said Cannon admitted he cut his hair to change his appearance after seeing surveillance video released by the police. So a majority of the Minneapolis City Council, are you ready for this, guys, have pledged even to dismantle the city's police department as their solution to alleged police violence after George Floyd's death. Now, the city council has said it will defund the police and put the money towards a community-based public safety model, which is private policing in real terms. Maybe they can call a crackhead or Jacob Fry if they have an intruder in their home in the middle of the night. So today, behind the cloak of a pandemic, Chinese Communist Party itself created, we are witnessing similar kinds of strategic behavior as China seeks to advance its own agenda and Chinese propagandists to advance pro-authoritarian government narratives. White House Trade and Manufacturing Policy Director, and finally, American investigators probing Prince Andrew, which made me laugh, and I'm sure you can guess why, and his pedophile pal, Jeffrey Epstein, have formally requested the Duke of York be handed over to give evidence. Now, the U.S. Department of Justice has made a formal mutual legal assistance, an MLA, request to the Home Office in the UK, bypassing Buckingham Palace. Now, the MLA allows cooperation between the UK and when the evidence needs to be gathered in a prosecution or investigation of criminal offences. Now, if approved by the Home Office in the UK, the FBI could ask Andrew, 60, to be compelled to go to a British court and give evidence under oath as a witness if he refuses to cooperate. They could also, as far as I'm concerned, Swaan Sekulas, the American who killed a British young man on a motorcycle by driving on the wrong side of road for Prince Andrew. Don't forget to check me out on TikTok. You can also follow us on YouTube. That was my soapbox for today. If you want to get on your soapbox, you can go to xandergibb.com/contact. That's xandergibb.com/contact. And tell us why you want to get on the show, and we will make it happen. Oh, yes, we will. Let's come back to the live feed. Chet says, ask her if she screwed JFK. I think you're talking about Marilyn Monroe. Well, she's not coming on. Okay, not reading that out either. Chet says they want to nationalize the police. He also says, yeah, I'm not going there either. Gina said, President Trump said today there will be no defunding of the police. Absolutely. Let's hope that there isn't. We have time for a couple of calls. You can call us on 845-363-4747. That's 845-363-4747. If you are in the United States of America, and if you are in the UK, you can call us on 0208-133-5274. That's 0208-133-5274. I'll let you off this time, Chet. I'm going to be sending a note to your mom, though. So give us a call, 0208-133-5274 if you're in the United Kingdom. But if you're in the USA, you can call us on 845-363-4747. That's 845-363-4747. Call us now. I wonder why people insist on sending me text while I'm broadcasting live. Who's going to be brave enough to call us? 845-363-4747. That's 845-363-4747. Yeah, Swoop is in the house. Swoop was my guest on Friday night and is a regular on our show. Make sure you make him welcome. I can't even talk tonight. I don't know why it is, because I do take a nap before the show, which kind of freshens me up and jump in the shower, which is why my skin is so fragrant and lovely. Okay, who's going to call us? 845-363-4747. That's 845-363-4747. Tell us what you think about what's going on in the world today. You can also tell us what you think about the fact that certain areas in the United States are talking about defunding the police. What do you think about the fact that statues and monuments are being pulled down because they're being termed as racist? Now, the name of the person who the statue was escapes me, but his ancestors were on today saying, yes, he did do a lot of bad, but he also did a lot of good. Is it just for vigilantes to come and tear things down? I mean, what's next? I really don't know. Try on the Facebook Messenger chat. I don't know why it's going to voicemail for you. I checked it out today. I had a couple of people from... I wonder if it's that you're on Sprint, because everyone that seems to be having a problem is calling on Sprint. So welcome back to the show, my good friend Chet Martin, when it stops doing the... Can you hear me? Hello? Can you hear me, Chet?
I'm here, Xander.
Welcome to the show. I'm good, thank you. I'm just curious, are you on Sprint?
No, I'm on Verizon.
Right. Because a couple of people who've been calling from Sprint from the Newark area have had problems. But I got a couple of friends from different places to try it out today, and it seemed to work well for them. So I really don't know what's going on. So tell me, first of all, what do you make of all this, pulling down statues and getting rid of things from the past because they might have been slightly wrong, or the person did things that are wrong? Should these things be left to kind of teach us something about history? What do you make of it?
Well, if you don't learn from your past, you're bound to repeat it. And I think somehow that's kind of what the Democrats want. I mean, when we're talking about segregation and we're talking about separating people by class or by race, isn't that kind of what the Democrats do?
Yeah.
I mean, it is what they do.
Yeah.
So I would assume that down south, where we had, we had a great civil war that came across in the north and the south, where many Americans died.
Yeah.
Listen, and people may not like this, but on both sides, for the Confederates and for the Union.
Yeah.
And some people that want to defend these statues are not defending them because they're racist.
Right.
They're defending them because they don't want to just forget their past, throw everything away, and then just hope that, somehow, some way, we move forward without any kind of racism. There's racism everywhere. Slavery has existed everywhere, and you can't avoid it. You just can't avoid it.
No, absolutely not. And I do agree with you. But the thing is that if we start dismantling our past, what does that actually do to change it? The past is set and fixed. Unless you've got a DeLorean parked in your drive that will take you back to the future, we can't do anything about it. One of the things that's heartened me today, I spent a lot of time on social media, kind of researching and giving liberals hell, et cetera, was that I'm seeing so many more black people standing up and saying, I'm not going to be used like this. Where are the Democrats the rest of the time? They only want you when you want that you want our vote. And I thought, yes, this young woman, I don't know how old she was, probably wasn't even 20. Do you think that this is a positive sign? Are our young people seeing that the left are not really out to help them, just use them when it benefits them?
Yeah, I think that a lot of people knew that already before all this started. And I do think that President Trump is going to do well with the minority vote. Don't forget, In 2016, he didn't do bad with the minority vote.
No.
People don't like talking about the fact that Donald Trump got a higher minority vote than Reagan, Bush Jr., and I believe maybe even Jimmy Carter back in the 70s, which would explain because you're going two way different parallels from what the Democrat and the Republican Party is. But it's always the people in the inner city that get screwed by the ones that they put into power, and the folks that they elect don't live in the district. They live an hour or 2 hours outside of the district.
Yeah.
So they're never there to see what's going on in these districts. And I don't know if you saw this, Xander, the numbers in Chicago where young black kids are getting killed was at an all-time high.
Yeah.
It's like, I think, over the past month, like 60 people being shot. I don't know about all of them dead, but, these are all Democrat-led bastions.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm sorry, I'm not very good with numbers, but apparently, I don't know if it was 9 or 12 or a lot of black people were killed over the weekend in Chicago. Yeah. And Geraldo Rivera, who I kind of go on and off, but he said something important today. He said, where are Black Lives Matter when it comes to talking about their lives lost? Because clearly, the narrative is true that they only care when they've been killed by whitey. And that's a sad state of affairs.
Well, it's because Black Lives Matter is a political movement.
Absolutely.
It doesn't have anything to do with Black Lives.
No.
Nothing at all. It's just like La Raza and CARE. They only speak up for theirs when it's convenient for them. If you had a black kid with a Trump hat, they wouldn't stop to give him the time of day. The only reason they'd stop is to hit him over the head with something or kill him.
Exactly.
And that's a pity, and that's a shame, and we should not be like that. But unfortunately, the Democrats have led us down this path of attacking your political enemy. Listen, on Freedom on Deck, we try to have people on from the other side. For the most part,
Me too.
They don't want to come on with us.
No.
So, it's their loss, but we at least try. On the other side, you never get it. Never.
No, absolutely. We have to leave it there, Chet, because I need to bring on my next guest. But Chet will be back with us a couple of times this week, so make sure you stick around for that. Thanks so much for calling us, Chet Martin from Freedom on Deck.
Thanks as always, man.
Thanks a lot, brother. Take care. Make sure you go check out Freedom on Deck on Facebook. Go and check out their website. Just making sure that Is it working? Is it not? This should be on the line. My first guest on the show tonight. She is Ala Hawatma, a business owner, designer, philanthropist, and conservative activist. And as the daughter of Christian immigrants from Jordan, she has a unique understanding of what it means to pursue the American dream. And she's running for Congress to ensure that the freedoms and ideas that make our country great are preserved for generations to come. Ala joins us tonight from the USA. And we're going to talk to her right after I play you her video. Here we go.
You'll never get anywhere if you don't take the first step. I'm Ola Hawatma. I'm a fashion designer and entrepreneur. I'm the daughter of Christian immigrants from Jordan, and I'm a mom of 3 boys. But I faced challenges along the way. I'm a survivor of domestic violence, but that led me to create charity fashion shows, helping women harmed by abuse. I beat cancer twice and now run a fashion week to benefit cancer survivors and find a cure. Sometimes it's tempting to let yourself stop and become a victim, but I turn those hard times into a runway to start something great. Today, America faces tough problems, and as an outsider with conservative values, I'm stepping forward to fix them. Liberals want to stop our progress and send our country in the wrong direction. But we're on a runway to make America great, and we're not going back.
Please join me in welcoming back to the Xander Gibb Show, the one, the only, the fabulous Alla Hawatma. How is the world with you, Alla? Is it crazy where you are?
How are you?
I am wonderful, thank you. I've never been so grateful to be in the UK in my life, because when all of this kind of went off, I was already over here. So, you know, it's a blessing and a curse, but I am wonderful.
Absolutely.
Are you on the East Coast?
Here
Go ahead.
yes, I am in New York. We're on stage 2 of opening up the state, and I'm having a lot of meet and greets and meeting people, 10 or less, in masks. But it's still heartbreaking because a lot of people are out of jobs.
Right.
30% of the businesses are not opening up. Families are on unemployment. You know, it's sad. A lot of businesses, I mean, nothing's opened up except for grocery stores and gas stations. And so, yeah, and we're just waiting. We need to stimulate the economy, and we need to open things up. It's time.
Absolutely. And do you feel that in New York State that's been hampered by the fact that we have an idiot for a governor who happens to be a Democrat and really cares nothing of how well the people in the state are doing? It's actually more about control with him.
Exactly. Cuomo has been nothing but selfish. All the decisions he's made has not benefited the state at all. First of all, I mean, all the mistakes that he's made. Let's just start with the nursing homes and having a mandatory order to have patients that are recovering, that have COVID-19, forcing them to go into nursing homes. And after 2 weeks after, saying, oh, whoops, well, they all died. The next thing you know is there's a picture of them and body bags in the back of a truck. And where is the consequences? No consequences for Cuomo. And then, you know, to say that our city New York is going bankrupt, and I never saw it happening. Really? For 10 years, you never saw it happening?
Exactly.
You know, everything that he has done nothing to benefit the state between him and de Blasio, and it's a sad mess. And I'm hoping that I can get them out. And first of all, I would love to get them out, but I'm hoping to get into Congress to make some changes. And one change is just getting this economy back to where President Trump had it before COVID-19. Right. You know, and we had stimulus checks coming out, and Pelosi with her $1 trillion stimulus checks were, you know, I guarantee probably 30% or less was actually to COVID-19, because there was so much of it that it had nothing to do with COVID-19.
No, because let's face it.
And then they want to give, want to give illegal immigrants, you know, stimulus checks. Have they lost their mind? Yeah,
exactly. I mean, it's interesting. Your family came to the USA, and your family did it legally, and you know they've worked their way through and done it all legally, and now you're running for Congress. So how do you feel about this kind of thing from the other side of actually coming to the United States legally, and then you see all these people jumping the queue and expecting handouts and even expecting to be able to vote in our elections?
That is, you know, the left doesn't care. They just look at them as you know, for their votes. They don't care. That's why they're doing so much to push them and take these shortcuts, and they're allowing them to come in illegally. Like, you know, we grew up with work ethic, drive, and not taking shortcuts. You live the American dream. What makes America so great? The laws.
Right.
The Constitution of America.
Yeah.
And you want to break the law and come in. So what kind of example are we setting for the next generation? We're saying it's okay to break the law. It's okay to cut corners. It's okay, you know, to do things illegally. No, that is not a prosperous America. A prosperous America is abiding. If you want to come, I have nothing against people who want to come, immigrants, but come the legal way, do it the righteous way, so we can set an example for the next generation.
Absolutely. But I think, and I'm sure you will agree with this, that all of this, you know, the politicizing of COVID-19, the politicizing of George Floyd's death, is all the left, the Democrats, trying desperately to cling to some way of possibly winning the election in November, when they know they haven't got a cat and hell's chance of doing it, honestly.
Well, Biden can't even put two words together, so I would like to see him in a debate with Trump. COVID-19,
Yeah.
They definitely prolonged it. Here you have AOC, shooting her videos telling people that working 40 hours a week is like slavery, and it's hard, and you guys should stay home, and we should quarantine for as long, as we can, and no one should go back to work, and let's just collect checks. It's very sad what they're doing, and what they're doing is to their agenda, not to the benefit of America. So many people are filing unemployment. There are 40 million unemployed, and what they're doing is encouraging it. It's the socialist way.
Yeah, exactly.
It's the socialist way, and that is what they're doing. They're encouraging, they're encouraging people, for unemployment, and of course they don't want to go back to work. So when they don't want to go back to work, businesses are shutting down. Employees can't get they're just, it's sad. It's a sad mess. But something has to happen. Changes have to be made. It reaches a breaking point where enough is enough.
Yeah.
And we need to stand up for the freedom of ourselves and for the sake of our next generation, for the sake of our kids.
Absolutely. And what do you think about this ideology of defunding the police? Have you ever heard anything more ridiculous in your life? I mean, surely we need to be giving them more money, if anything.
You know what? That is absolutely insane. That's an excuse. You want to take away, you know what they're going to say next? That's just their excuse, because that's what they do. They do little steps, little at a time, and then finally, you turn around and it's like, holy shit, this whole world has changed. What they're trying to do, the next thing they're going to say is, let's remove National Guards, let's remove security, let's remove, that's what they're trying to do. They're going in that direction, and that's what I see. I see they're going in the direction of, okay, first it's defunding police. Next is, security for the country. No, let's get rid of, let's just have an open border. I mean, I just see it happening, and we cannot allow them to do this. One incident, this officer is being charged. He was a terror. What he did was not right.
No.
What he did was wrong, and he deserves to pay but that does not mean, he deserves to pay, go to jail, life sentence. It's murder. Right. But the rest of the police officers do not deserve to pay for his mistakes. There are bombers, for example, terrorists, are we going to judge every single person from that country just because there's a group that's...
Exactly.
We cannot, the other cops cannot, and the other officers and people that protect us, they cannot, be held just for his mistakes.
I mean, I think that this is all part of the liberalization of the planet. I mean, God forbid if I went out tomorrow and I wouldn't get in an altercation with a cop because I would just do as they asked me to do. But if I did and I ended up dead, would that mean they'd killed me because I'm gay? Because for me, this is the liberalizing of the planet. They have to always take it to this base. And I actually don't think that cop was racist. Excuse my French. I just think he was an asshole. I think that it would have been the same whoever the perpetrator was, but it's been turned into a race issue, which has ripped the scab off racism, everywhere in the world. And whilst there is a problem with racism, I actually don't think in 2020 it's on the scale that they're purporting it to be.
No, they're the ones that segregated this country. You look at half the rioters, a lot of them are white. A lot of them, they create this racial war because they want to segregate. They want to, because it benefits them.
Yeah, absolutely, because they have nothing else, do they? They don't have any leadership. They don't have any policies. And they don't have anything to offer America. I mean, for 40 years, what's his name, Sleepy Joe Biden has been trying to do something. He's done absolutely nothing. And his racism over the years, saying we don't need another Negro in the House of Representatives. I remember these statements. I've researched all of this, but people have seemed to have forgotten this. A racist is running for in the presidential race.
Oh, they have, and I hope and I pray, that I can bring the United back into the United States, and where we can, because that's the only way we're going to move ahead.
Right.
We need to work in a bipartisan fashion and just working together, and opening the minds of our youth, of our kids' minds, because otherwise, they're being taught in college everything bad, and everything out there is just violence and negativity and
Right.
war and hatred and anger. Let's remove all of this, and we need to bring, first of all, I always say this, God in the forefront, and we need to come to a peace. We cannot be attacking one another. America, we need to bring United back in the United States.
We do. We absolutely do. You see, I kind of take my hat off to you and to others that are running for Congress at this time, because it is a thankful task. There you are with a successful business as a fashion designer, et cetera, et cetera. You must really care about the United States to actually want to do this.
Absolutely, I do, and that is my agenda. When you go from living a comfortable life and just, and when I started working and traveling in D.C., when you see what's going on in Congress, how can you sit back and do nothing?
Right.
When you see not only between the corruption and the fraud and the outdated bills that don't do the citizens any good. I mean, I couldn't sit down for the sake of the next generation, for the sake of this country that's given me and my family freedom. I had to. I have nothing to lose.
Absolutely.
So absolutely, it's a huge responsibility, and I'm willing to take it. And so that is why I decided to run. And so here I am, campaigning nonstop, every day. We have a primary coming up June 23rd, and then in November. So God willing, it goes well, and we see some positive changes, not only in my district, but it has to happen in the country. We have to work together.
Right.
We cannot. United States of America is the greatest country in the world. It has given my family freedom, and we cannot have our freedom being taken away from us. We have to protect the Constitution of America. We have to protect our Second Amendment. We have to protect our rights as citizens. We cannot have them change us.
Amen to that. And when we have people in Congress like, Ilhan Omar and Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, and they're working against everything that our forefathers have tried to achieve, to make America, the best country in the world. Surely it's now time to vote these people out and actually vote in people that want to make a difference. Because even Democrats that I know are tired of it.
Well, they are. No one likes AOC in her district. She kicked out Amazon.
Yeah.
That was thousands of jobs. It's actually, I'm trying to get them in my district. She's done nothing for her district. And she is a puppet. They
of course.
She goes on TV and what are you doing for your district? What are you doing for your country? Everything that comes out of her mouth, we want to see results, and that is what is expected of Congress, and that is why I'm running. It's shameful, and it's exhausting to see. Here we have Congress, and they have so much power, but we don't see much change except for taxes going up.
Exactly.
And it's just not right. We need some changes.
We sure do.
They make regulations of all the things that do not need to be regulated, like our Second Amendment, but then, and it's just, there's a lot of change that needs to be made.
For sure. Now I have to congratulate you because today you were received the support of the NRA. Tell us a bit more about that, because that's a huge thing, isn't it?
Thank you. Yes, it is. I was excited to get the phone call, and when they told me that I was endorsed by the NRA, that's a huge honor. I do believe in the Second Amendment, and not only that, I mean, protecting the Constitution and protecting the Second Amendment is important to me, and getting rid of these regulations that they keep putting on them, and making it harder for people to buy guns and own guns. And so we need to, and I'm going to do everything I can to protect it. And that's a huge honor, and I'm very grateful and thankful to the NRA.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, I was actually telling someone today, I don't know if you've ever seen the TV show, Simpsons, even, that was Freudian, The Simpsons, where they scan the baby through in the checkout line. It actually comes up on the cash register, NRA forever. And every time I see that, it makes me smile, that we have gun-loving Americans in positions to be able to do things like that. We are running out of time, but tell people where they can find you and help with your campaign.
Well, we definitely need fundraising. Please go to olaforcongress.com, olaforcongress.com.
Absolutely.
And there's a volunteer donation button. And I appreciate you for having me on your show. Thank you so much. It's always a pleasure talking to you.
It's always lovely to talk to you too. All of Allah's the contact information is on the Xander Gibb show page for this week. Thank you so much, Allah Huwatma, and I look forward to speaking to you again very soon.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot. Take care. That was Allah Huwatma. Make sure you go and check her out. Go and see her page. Some problem with the Skype here. Make sure you go and support her. We need people like Allah in office. We need fresh blood out there, and we need to get rid of people like AOC and Ilhan Omar. My next guest should be calling in any second. He is Greg Schreiner, owner of a comprehensive collection of Marilyn Monroe memorabilia, encompassing furniture, items from Marilyn's final home, autographs, canceled bank checks, including a check to Eunice Murray dated August 4th, 1962, film scripts, documents, costume sketches. Greg also possesses one of the largest private collections of Marilyn Monroe screen-worn and publicity gowns. And you should be calling us any second now to chat some Marilyn. I'd like to just burst into song, singing some Marilyn Monroe stuff, but unfortunately, it's all subject to copyright. This should be Greg Schreiner calling us now. Let's hope it's going to go through. Are you there, Greg? Don't know what is happening there. Just getting this egg timer thing going on. Skype, I officially hate you. We are just waiting for... thank you, John. I hope you're good. No, not Marilyn Manson. I would actually quite like to interview Marilyn Manson. Did you know that Marilyn Manson was in, oh God, what was it? Not Doogie Howser, MD. The Wonder Years. He played that gooky kid in the Wonder Years. I'm just hoping that he's going to call us back so we can have a chat with him. Because Greg's always a mind of useful information with regards to Marilyn Monroe. Boop, boop, bidoo. So call us back, Greg, if you're watching. I don't know what happened there. See you later, John. Thanks for joining us, brother. You have a great night, too. Chet says, Marilyn Monroe sang, I thought she was only an actress. Yeah, don't you remember her singing something on the something may be quite continental, but something is a girl's best friend. No? You don't remember that? Well, I remember she sang, and she had a pretty good voice. And I was a total fan. Let me just see if I can check in and see where Greg is. And so we can chat a little with Greg about all things. Here we go. So this should be Greg Schreiner calling us from the USA. Hi, Greg. How is the world with you?
Well, good. I was a little concerned. I wasn't able to get through the first couple times I tried.
I'm sorry about that. We use Skype because I'm in the UK, and sometimes it's brilliant, and other times it's absolutely terrible. But I'm glad we've got you now, and we can jump right in to the interview. Now, I don't know if you heard about the preamble that I was talking about. And actually, interestingly enough, I was just saying I would really love to just burst into song and sing a Marilyn Monroe song. And a couple of people in the live feed for the show said they didn't realize that Marilyn sang. So that's crazy.
Really? After all the musicals she made?
Yeah, exactly. So I want to rewind. Where did the fascination? Is that your fur baby in the background there?
I've got a dog that's barking at somebody going by the house.
No worries.
I can walk outside if it gets bad.
No, it's fine. Don't worry.
Usually she calms down when she stops seeing people.
Yeah. So let's rewind a little. Where did this fascination start for you with Marilyn Monroe?
I'm sorry, could you say that again?
Where did this fascination start with you from Marilyn Monroe?
Well, I think it started because I was taken by my parents when I was a child to go see the movie Some Like It Hot at a drive-in theater.
Right.
And I just couldn't believe how beautiful she was. And I thought, wow, I'd like to get to know more about her. And that's when I started digging into her life and starting to watch her films and all the stuff that I could do as a child.
Yeah, and dig, because you have so much of her stuff, don't you?
I do. Well, I got very lucky. I moved to Los Angeles in 1979 to go to school at UCLA. And, of course, this is where her home was for most of her life. So I had access to many, many things that might be hers.
Right.
And then when I became president of her fan club in 1982, that drew more attention to me as a Marilyn person. And people started coming to me and saying, hey, I've got this or I've got that of Marilyn's. And auctions started happening, too, where they were selling things.
Right.
Because up until then, nobody cared about movie stuff. Nobody was really selling anything from the stars. It wasn't a big deal. But all of a sudden, people going, wow, I'd love to own something by one of the great stars of Hollywood. And for me, that meant Marilyn Monroe.
Right. Because tell us your most prized Marilyn Monroe possession, because you've got a lot of stuff, haven't you?
I do have a lot. It's sort of like asking a parent who their favorite child is.
Yeah, I thought you might say that.
I love it all. I guess if I had to pick, it would maybe be one of her gowns.
Right.
Because I think they're such a personal thing. But I also have like her dresser that was next to her the night she died, and that to me is very special too.
Right. Yeah. Now I'm a big guy, but if I was a smaller guy, I would probably want to try on one of her dresses. But she wasn't. She wasn't really like thick thin. No.
Very
God.
tight, because she was not a big woman.
No, I wouldn't get a leg into one of her outfits, but I'm sure it must be quite tempting to do so. But you don't just have dresses though, do you? You've got other kind of artifacts and stuff.
I have a lot of things of hers, from furniture to documents to the gowns. Whatever I can collect that's related to her, I try to get it. Unfortunately, it's become so expensive now to collect Marilyn Monroe that I really don't know how much more I'll be able to collect. But I feel like I've gotten very lucky this far, and I'm happy if I don't get any more. I'm totally happy with what I have. So I will be content.
Right. And so I know this sounds like, I'm sure you're going to say, are you crazy, Xander? But so would you ever just say, right, okay, I'm going to sell it all now? And if you were going to, this is part 2 of the question, how much do you think it would all be worth?
Well, I really don't know when I'd ever sell it because it's such a big part of my life. But
Right.
indeed, if I decide to sell it, I think there's quite a bit of value here because I'm seeing her gowns are going for several $100,000.
Wow.
All the way up to several $1 million for just one. So I'm not saying that mine are as valuable as the ones that were in the $1 million range, but I also think even a regular gown of hers goes for sometimes several $100,000.
Wow.
So in a sense, I guess I have a retirement fund
Yeah.
here in my Marilyn collection.
That's if you were ever going to be willing to let go of it, that is.
Yeah, or if I had to, finances got bad where
Yeah.
I really needed the money, I guess that would be a time when I would go, okay, Marilyn will take care of me now.
Now, I know everything's been closed down lately, but are you still involved? It's been a while since I spoke to you. Are you still involved in the museum?
You're talking about the Hollywood Museum?
Yeah.
I'm still involved with that. I have several costumes, not Marilyn's, but other people at the moment at that museum, because I do collect more than just Marilyn, but she's my number one.
Right.
But the museum, unfortunately, is not open at the moment because
No.
it's closed at the start of the COVID-19.
Absolutely. It's I live in the UK a lot right now, and one of the things I'd love to do is to go into London and go and look at all the museums, but I don't even know when those things are going to open again because they are part of our history. And
but I must tell you, I've actually been working with an agent on a possible exhibit at the Victoria and Albert.
Oh, really?
Right there in London.
Wow.
So you might get to actually see some of my collection one of these days.
Definitely. Well, if you are going to be in London, let me know and we will come and do an interview for the show because that would be very interesting.
Okay, I will. And of course, everything's on hold at the moment.
Yeah.
But things open up. They are really pushing for it because they're going to be doing it in conjunction with a new musical on the life of Marilyn, which will be opening in London at the same time. So
Oh, wow. That's news to me.
Kind of exciting.
Yeah. And did they know who's going to play Marilyn yet? Should I audition or am I a little old?
I don't know. I just somehow feel you're not quite right for the part.
Right. Well, thank you for that,
Then
Greg.
again, I've never seen you in a dress. So.
No. Believe me, let's not go there. Yeah. So you say you have kind of collectibles from other people too, like who? Because I just had a few names thrown into the live feed. CV was saying he loves Julie Newmar and Barbara Eden.
I don't have either of those, but I do collect, like I have Judy Garland and Barbara Streisand and Katharine Hepburn and Susan Hayward. A lot of the major stars, Lana Turner, more of the older stars, I guess,
Right.
of Hollywood. And I actually even do a show with the costumes called Hollywood Revisited. So it's really a way for me to celebrate old Hollywood, which is where my heart lies.
Right. Yeah, because I think all of them. I don't know if it's kind of like cyclical, but it's like the movies kind of seem to always be making a comeback. And when I see if there's a Marilyn Monroe movie on the television, I want to watch it. And then they talk about kind of digital remastering some of them. And I know they have done that, but I kind of think that spoils it, don't you?
Sometimes they can muck it up by doing too much to it. Sometimes they're perfection already. And that's where Turner Classic Movies in the United States is so wonderful because they show them uncut exactly as they were shown in theaters. And
Yeah.
It's great to see those old films again because a lot of them were so well made and the stories were so good and it wasn't about special effects. It was about good acting and good stories.
Yeah, Absolutely. So who was your favorite Marilyn Monroe leading man, and what was your favorite movie?
Oh dear. Boy, that's hard to say. I really adore Tom Ewell. I think he's so brilliant at 7-Year Itch,
Right.
and such a perfect foil for Marilyn. I guess maybe he might be my favorite. And as far as her best movie, I kind of am partial to Prince and the Showgirl, which, as you know, was filmed in England.
Yeah.
I think it's so wonderfully done.
Yes, absolutely. What do you think our love? What do you think is at the root of our love affair with all of these things? Because I kind of, I don't know. For me, there is a magic to it that we don't seem to have in today's film and television and movie industry.
I think you've hit it on the head. I really do. I think movies don't have that same special glow they used to have, and partly it's because the studio system does not exist anymore. So the stars are more real. They're not as in the heavens like they were back then. And also just the way they make movies, they're more realistic now. They're not shot in the studios as much. They're more out in the real world. And there was something wonderful about those old movie musicals, for instance, that were not real, but you loved them because they were so colorful and so full of fun and music and spectacular costumes and sets. And they're not really making that kind of film very much anymore. It's a different type of film now.
Absolutely. What would you say was, because the thing is that, I know even younger people that are huge fans of Marilyn Monroe. We have lots of Marilyn Monroe impersonators. What do you think is the secret? Is there one secret to her longevity?
I think really it's a combination of all the things that she represented, from the vulnerability to the innocence to the sweetness to the talent to the humor. She embodied it all, and also she was so ahead of her time in how she was fighting for women's rights and all the issues that she kind of went for more than other women were doing back then. I think we kind of admire that about her, that she stood up for all those things she believed in.
Yeah, when we were talking earlier, and you said about that she was did a lot for kind of racial equality and human rights and stuff like that. We don't hear a lot about that with regards to Marilyn Monroe.
No, and actually there's just a book that came out that tells the story about, one example is that Ella Fitzgerald, the famous singer, was trying to get booked into a very prestigious nightclub in LA called the Macambo, and they would not allow a black person to perform.
Wow. And
Marilyn went to the owner and said, if you allow her to do this, I will be in the audience in the front row every night. And he said, well, how can I say no to that?
Yeah.
So then she was there every night, and it kind of broke down a barrier. After that, some of the clubs started accepting black performers, and so it just showed to me that she really felt strongly that this was very wrong of them to have that attitude and that it needed to change, and she fought for it. The same way she would go to orphanages and visit the orphans whenever she was on tour, and she would make a point of always embracing the black children and showing that it was okay, that they were equally wonderful children, because back then that was sort of a no-no to have this white woman embracing black children. It wasn't thought of as proper. So she kind of broke a lot of barriers down, which, thankfully was needed.
Absolutely. I have to ask you this, because someone just brought this up in the chat, and this is something I've never heard either. Someone just said that Marilyn was bisexual. I never heard that. Did you?
I've heard rumors, but I've seen not one shred of proof to go with that.
Right. Yeah.
My impression is she loved men, and she always dated men.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I was in her bedroom, and maybe there was a time when she had some bisexual tendencies, which I think a lot of people might have experimented with.
Right.
But I think you could say pretty much her interest was in men.
Yeah, absolutely. I was in a bedroom several times, but we were only comparing makeup tips and doing one another's hair. Imagine to have,
I like the way you think.
yeah, imagine being around at that time and being friends with someone like Marilyn Monroe, who I hear kind of really, always hung out with the gays. But can you just imagine that, that she was your friend? That would be something pretty awesome.
It would be the greatest thing in my life if that was a possibility. I'm just so sorry I never got to meet her.
Yeah.
I could have experienced that.
I want to ask you a final question, and I've probably asked you this before, so apologies if I have. A lot of people feel that the Elton John song was a little disingenuous. What do you think? Because I love it, but I'd be interested to know what you think.
I think that he captured a lovely thought with his song. I personally love the song. I think he did a great job. I've always admired Elton John anyway. I think he's a very brilliant composer and artist. And I think he really captured a lovely thing about Marilyn, that she never really found the happiness that she was looking for in life. And her life burned out way too soon. 36 was way too young to die.
Yeah.
Does that so beautifully with The Candle in the Wind.
Yeah. How old would she have been today? She'd have been in her 80s, wouldn't she?
I'm sorry?
How old would she?
Now there's an airplane going over it.
Oh, well, that's a good sign that there's planes flying again. How old would she have been now?
She would have been, she was born in 1926, so she would have been 94 years old.
Oh, wow. So she would be pretty old right now.
Maybe up there, but there are certainly other people older than her that are still alive in her era, so it's possible she would have still been with us, but we'll never know, will we?
Absolutely. Well, God bless Marilyn Monroe, and thank you so much for joining us once again, Greg, on the Xander Gibb Show. Tell people where they can find out more about you and what you're doing.
Do you want me to yes, they can go to my website, which is themarilynmonroesite.com, and see my entire collection. And if they want to join the club, Marilyn Remembered, they go to marilynremembered.org. It's no charge, absolutely free, and they can become a member. Absolutely.
And all of Greg's information is on the Xander Gibb Show page for this week. But for now, thank you so much for coming on and chatting with us again. I hope you'll come and speak to us again.
Thank you for having me again. I appreciate it.
In the future. And please let me know when you're going to be in London, because it would be great to meet you and do an interview on camera and get to see some of this lovely memorabilia from the fabulous Marilyn Monroe.
If you make it there, I will be more than happy to do that.
Absolutely. I'm there. But thank you so much for now, Greg Schreiner. Thanks a lot, Greg. Take care.
Okay.
Bye.
Thank you, awesome. Bye-bye.
We have some very naughty people in the chat tonight whose commentary I am not repeating. I don't care if Marilyn was gay. Chat, you are very naughty. Well, that's it for tonight's Xander Gibb Show. Not had your fill of the Gibbster. You can catch me 5 nights a week, 5 Pacific, 7 Central, 8 Eastern, 1 in the UK, and 12 midday down there in Australia. On tomorrow's show, pet mediator Deborah Hamilton and lead anchor from Freedom on Deck, the very naughty Chet Martin, joins us. Thanks to everyone who's made today's show possible. Thanks to my good friend Ola Hawatma and the equally salubrious Greg Schreiner. I have been Xander Gibb, and I really do love you all. Oh, yes, sirree. Bye-bye.
It has been good to me this time around. Things were bound to change when it was found. Sugar never tasted sweeter on my lips. My heart is now intact, and I can find no rest. This is love, yeah, love. Now
bell button and subscribe to keep up with the Xander Gibb Show. Oh yes, sirree.